Okay, welcome to Dishing with Debbie, and 'tis the season for everything pumpkin. If you love it as much as I do, this is going to be perfect for you. This is a pumpkin muffin that we make every year, and it takes a little bit of a healthy twist, but you're never going to know it because it's so delicious. We'll get started. Okay, I've gone ahead and taken the time to pre-measure and dish out all of my ingredients. That's what makes it go a lot quicker. So here we go. This is a cup of all-purpose flour. I'm going to put that in a bowl. This is a half cup of whole wheat flour. Now, I guess you could use all regular flour if you wanted to, but I really like the touch this gives to it. It's just a little different texture, and it adds something special, I think. Then we're gonna add just some granulated sugar. This is a half a cup of that. And then we're gonna have some brown sugar, a half a cup of packed brown sugar. Add that in. Then we're gonna have pumpkin pie spice. This is the stuff that makes all of your pumpkin treats taste like pumpkin. It's cinnamon and nutmeg and allspice, all those good things. Just smells like the holidays. Put that in there. I think that's about a teaspoon and a quarter of that. Then we have, I'm cheating and looking at the recipe. Okay, Bobby Flay does it. I'm gonna do it too. So this is baking soda. This is a teaspoon of baking soda. Then we're gonna have a quarter teaspoon of baking powder. It's going to go in, and then we're going to have a quarter teaspoon of salt, because every sweet needs a little bit of salt in it. Oh, that's my oven. It's preheating, 375. That's what we want it on. Then we're just going to whisk all of these ingredients together. And when you were spooning out your flours, of course, you know, you don't want to pack them too tightly. What I do is I spoon them into the cup and then just lightly level them off with a knife. It's very important to measure when you're baking. That's why some people have a problem with it. It's more of a science. It's more exact. And sometimes you really have to follow the recipe. So you get all of those incorporated. Now we're going to start in a different bowl doing our wet ingredients. Now this is the pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie mix. This doesn't have anything in it except pureed pumpkin. So take out a cup of that, put that in here, and you're always going to have some left over in the can. What I do is I put that into a separate container, put it in the fridge, and we use it to mix in with oatmeal or cream of wheat, different things that we might eat throughout the week for breakfast. Now this is buttermilk, homemade buttermilk, because I don't ever go and buy it at the store because I don't use it that much. So all you have to do is take out your regular milk, whatever you need. This is a half a cup. So just measure it out, put just a splash of vinegar in there, let it sit for about 5 minutes while you're getting your other stuff together. You're gonna have buttermilk. And that way you don't waste a whole container of buttermilk that you may or may not use. Then we have a couple of eggs. Now this recipe originally called for an egg substitute. If you wanna go all healthy, you could do that too, but I just use a couple of whole eggs. It's gonna work either way. And this is applesauce. And it happens to come in a little container that's the exact amount you need, because you need a quarter cup. So you don't even have to measure that out. It's exactly how much. And you're using that in place of some of the oil. We're still gonna use a little oil, but not quite as much. This is a quarter cup of canola oil. Mix that in there. And then we're just gonna stir all these together. And what, you know, everybody loves these. A friend of mine a long time ago gave this recipe to me, and it has been so popular. A sweet girl that used to take care of our son in the afternoons after school. She looked forward to bringing him home after school every year around this time because she knew I would probably have a plate of these waiting. And in fact, one year I went ahead and just made her a little kit to make them at home. I measured everything out for her, put it in a little container with the ingredients, the instructions, the recipe. All she had to provide, I think, were the eggs and the buttermilk. And so then she just put them together and was able to make them at home. So that's great. So now what you're gonna do is you're going to add one of these to the other. I don't remember which way it goes. I don't think that matters. You just pour one into the other and we're gonna mix them up. And that's about as hard as it gets. I mean, I think, quite honestly, the hardest part about this entire recipe is just getting all the ingredients together and measuring them out. But you're gonna be so happy you did. I mean, you can even do that with the dry ingredients, like the day before, just have them ready so then when you wanna make them, it's not so much of a chore. So then we're just gonna mix all these together till it comes into one nice mixture. And once we get all of it incorporated, we're gonna start to spin them into our little muffin cups. And we'll show you what that's gonna look like next. Okay, so all of this has come together. It looks like a nice mixture there. So we're done with that. Throw that in the sink. Go back. And this makes an unusual number, but it's the same every time. It makes 16. We're gonna have 16 muffins. And I've got these cute little candy corn liners, and I sprayed them with oil so it won't, or not oil, but cooking spray, so it won't stick. Because that's the last thing you want is muffins that won't come out of their liner. And so once we get all of these filled, we'll pop them into the 375-degree oven. I think it's about 15 minutes or so. We'll let you know exactly how much it is. We just keep an eye on them until they are done and spring back when we touch them. We'll continue filling these, pop them in the oven, and ooh, it'll be time to have them. Okay, all the muffin cups are filled. I told you it works out that way every time. Perfectly. 16 muffins. Not 15, not 17. 16 muffins. And we will just pop them in the 375-degree oven and set the timer between 15-20 minutes. They should be done. We'll be ready to eat. All right, my timer just went off and I'm taking the muffins out of the oven. Oh, they look so good. These look yummy. And look how beautiful they are. They cooked about 18 minutes. I checked them at 16 and put them back in for a little bit longer. Put a pick in, they come out clean. They bounce back and they're good to go, and we'll try them next. Okay, these have been cooling. It's been hard to let them sit without tasting, but I think this one looks like it needs a little taste. So these are perfect for a Halloween party, fall dinner. Oh, look at smoking. Oh my goodness, it's still warm. And even, they're great in the morning with coffee. Oops. We put a little butter on them and warm them up. Oh my goodness. Because they're not too sweet. They're not overwhelmingly pumpkin. They just have that great kind of comforting fall holiday feel to them. I swear, these are one of my favorites. You're gonna love them. Try them.